Hello there everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another podcast on the Brownboy channel. Now, I've been away for some time, developing on plans for the channel, also doing some inner work. Be sure to check out the channel trailer. Now that's going to give you information on the future plans for this channel and the regularity of the content. Now, today's guest is a returning individual. He's been on the podcast before, and we'll be speaking about a range of topics, so be sure to share your views below in the comments section. We really want to get you guys involved with this. It's a discussion, it's also a process of learning, and this is something that requires all of us to come together. So like, comment and subscribe as I've said, and enjoy the show.
One of the biggest votes in British political history in effect, in motion. You know what I'm saying?
Let me give you my view, because I actually kind of disagree with what you said in a loving manner. So we are live, episode 16 of the Brownboy Podcast. And I have another guest returning once again for, I think it's your third time, isn't it, my friend?
Yeah, third time.
Funnyfrancis, Moses as I know him. These are introduction. But just before we do get into the mechanics of the podcast, I'm going to talk about a lot of things today. Be sure to check out the trailer of the channel that I've just put out now before this video. It's going to give you all the information on the future plans for this channel. So check that out. Click the top right corner and you're good to go. Anyway, Mr. Francis Moses, how are you today?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. Obviously, during the holy month of Ramadan, it's iftar soon. Obviously, man's kind of hungry and that mad thing.
Walaikum salam.
Right now, bro.
Walaikum salam. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not fasting.
Oh, yeah, fucking a little bit.
But that is what it is. But yeah, how have you been since we last seen you back in, I think it was back in January, you know, or even December. Was it January? February, wasn't it? I don't even know. It's been a long time.
For the last video?
The last time we did it at my house, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. It was a madness still.
Yeah, live.
It was a good video,
direct.
man. What kind of stuff did we speak about back then? We touched on similar topics as what's happening now, really. I can't remember. What did we talk about? We spoke about. Remind me. What did we speak about in the last?
You know, I think we spoke about Babylon.
Obviously we spoke about Babylon.
We spoke about positivity, good energy. Yeah, it was back in December. That's when it was. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was actually last year. It was back in December, and we discussed all sorts of things, Babylon, all this and that. But yeah, so what's been going on since then? It's been about 5 months, almost half a year. What's been going on? Give us an update.
Looks like we rarely get the opportunity to see each other, kind of thing, innit? But well, with me now, obviously, I'll be honest. Since the last time we spoke, the social media things kind of slowed down for me. I've been working more often, and trying to understand myself in the physical sense, like in the literal sense, like in the sense that trying to get my goals straight and understanding that although in a fairy tale society you want to be firing on all cylinders, but in reality you have things such as burnout, you have other priorities, and sometimes it's not possible to be performing on all cylinders, kind of thing. So really in the past since the last time I've been on your channel, for example, I've just been working a lot more often and trying to get in the P's, really, and just trying to figure out like what's my next step to becoming an independent man, or what's my next step as a man in this journey of what we call life, kind of thing, really. So that's been me, really, you know. Then
because I can see
man.
Your YouTube
go on.
I was gonna say your YouTube hasn't been as active lately. I can see you've taken a bit of time away doing your own thing.
Yeah, man, I had to understand myself and the true meaning. But I think the last video I dropped was like 1st of March or something like that. And people are saying, where have you been? You've been gone for about 3 months. But sometimes you need a break away to understand the bigger picture, you know? So
yeah. No, I definitely agree.
I think I'm in a happier kind of place now, because I finished the script today and I'm looking to film that tomorrow, 17th of May, if you're watching this in the future. So yeah, man, I'm looking to get back into it slowly and steadily, you know. and get back the joy. Because obviously, this social media thing, as I was saying to someone yesterday, yeah, who was telling me about TikTok. I don't know if you noticed, but it seems year after year, yeah, there seems to be so many more new social medias, and
Yeah,
inadvertently, huh?
so many.
Yeah, and inadvertently, it puts like a subliminal pressure on you as a creative, as a social media influencer. Even if you don't want to admit it, it puts a pressure on you saying, oh, raw, that's something else that I need to be performing on. Fucking TikToks come out. I need to go on there and start performing and hitting fucking 1 million views like I've hit on YouTube. Oh, Instagram's brought IGTV out. I need to be on there. Twitter's brought out this. Snapchat's brought out that. And over time, it can really erode you, you know? But hence why I kind of took a step back from social media kind of thing. I haven't been as active or posting as much. I think I've been more putting focus on different parts of my life. But I think the beauty and flexibility of being a creative or being entertainer or YouTuber is you kind of work for yourself. You can say, "Fuck it, I don't wanna do anything for the next year, and I want to do something else in my life and come back to this in 2021." And you can do that kind of thing. But the only thing is, obviously, how much does it affect you, like with algorithms, views? Will
Hmm.
you still have the same fans who haven't seen you in a year, kind of thing? And that's all the kind of things that people have to consider. I mean, if you want to take this to the max here, it's all down to what you want to get out of it, really. And for me, really, all I really want to achieve is like reach a stage or a platform where I can make more people laugh than I am even doing right now, kind of thing. So it's not even a case of money or a case of wanting the fame, because if it was, then I would be posting every week trying to hit the million every time.
Yeah.
So it's not like that, you know what I'm saying?
You know when you
But
take that break, yeah, because obviously I've taken a break as well for around about a month from proper videos, and you kind of realize it's like you almost come to a point before you take the break where you're not doing the videos for fun anymore. You're almost doing it because you know you have to. Then when you take that break, and then you come back. I don't know about you, but I feel so rejuvenated. I feel excited to do
true,
videos. I feel like
it's true.
I've got all these ideas which are flowing around my head, and without that break, I would have carried on probably to burnout.
Yeah, it's true what you're saying now about the burnout, because I felt that more recently that, oh raw, it's more of a case of where's my creative spark gone kind of thing. So
Mhm.
when you feel like you're losing the sparks that once made you who you was on social media, you have to really take a step back and try and regain those things, you know?
Mhm.
Because if you lose it, then it's hard to gain it back. So you have to take a step back, take space away, take time away to really understand the space in between.
I think it's because what it is that a lot of people, especially like in the creative side of things, YouTube, when you do take a break, when you do stop, there's always that fear that I might never return to this again, that it might never
Mm,
happen, and sometimes that's quite true because like in order to build something up, you have to dedicate the time towards it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. And then when you do take that break, it's obviously you know that that's all on hold and it's not going to really grow. More times than not, it's not really going to grow unless you're doing something about it. But it's worse to carry on when you don't want to. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, it depends how much it means to you. I mean, for me, what I've created so far through my comedy and my social media, that's like my baby kind of thing. So you would never leave your child to fall astray. You would never desert your child.
Mm.
You'd never want anything bad to happen to your child, and that's the kind of thing I feel for what I've created so far. So I would never desert it. Maybe I'll take a step back and see how it grows on its own, i.e., the development of me as a person, just taking a step back from social media or YouTube or comedy or whatever it is that I may be doing at the time. But as a whole, like what you said, sometimes if you carry on, you create more negative effects as if you was to stop. So you've got
Yeah,
a point. You've got a point.
it's,
It all
it's like
depends what it means to you, you know?
yeah, it's like a cycle. I mean, you spoke earlier. You spoke there as well about TikTok and stuff. Like, I really feel that pressure. You know, where it's like your anxiety gets to you like, I have to do this, I have to go on there, I have to put myself out there on Twitter, on Facebook, and it's like your expertise becomes concentrated in less concentrated because it's so dispersed in like
Well,
this, that,
exactly, exactly.
you know? And I feel like I see this a lot, like especially with TikTok during this quarantine, which we're going to speak about next. People are making a lot of TikTok videos, and there's some quality ones out there. I'll be honest with you, I see a lot of girls. They're doing a lot of like really interesting challenges. I'm thinking, how do they do that? And maybe it is something I'll get into in the future. But the problem is, I don't want to get into it if I feel like I have to do it. Like, oh, but I don't want to do it because then it's going to take time away from other things in life which are also important to me. And it's like you said earlier, it's like a delegation. What's most important to you? Because
Exactly.
if you pursue something so much that you leave other areas of your life unbalanced, you will no doubt suffer in those other areas.
Exactly. And I mean, with what you said there, I'm also in a similar boat. With TikTok now, I've just refused to join it because, like you said,
Well, it's like me, bro. Like, I'm exactly the same, to be
man,
honest. I'm exactly the same. I'm telling you.
like you said, yeah, the talent will be more dispersed rather than more focused. I think when that kind of thing happens, I think you actually lose the talent because
Yeah.
instead of specializing in a particular area or a particular thing, you instead try to diversify and spread your talent over 5 different platforms that require different types of application, implementation, and
Literally,
delivery.
it's like
You know what I mean?
I put a video out on Facebook. Okay, now I've got to do YouTube. Then I've got to do Instagram. Then I've got to do
You
TikTok.
got to make a
Then I've got
version for
to do
Snapchat. You got to make a version for IGTV.
too many,
It's
too
a
many, too many.
Mazalina, fam.
Literally. So like, obviously, we're
But I
gonna
think,
go on.
oh, you're
Carry
gonna,
on.
yeah, go on. You're gonna change the
No,
subject
no,
because we're gonna
no,
go deeper into that. But go on, go on, go
no,
on.
no. That's what we need. That's what we need. Go on.
Because I was gonna say, yeah, obviously, I have to go back to Babylon, innit? Yeah, yeah.
Wait. For those people that are watching at the beginning, like, sorry, for the first time, what is Babylon? Tell us just a little quick definition of Babylon. Because they might be thinking
So,
Babylon is certain some takeaway. I know takeaways that are called Babylon. You know what I mean?
so Babylonia is a very historic area in the Middle East, I believe. Yeah, it the word Babylonia and Babylon appears in the Quran. It appears in the Bible. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously Babylonia is known for various things. Yeah, obviously a lot of holy things took place in that city. There was a siege of Babylonia as well. So there's historical war events that took place there. But in the current time now, yeah, Babylon is the pagans that are fucking up the thing right now. You man, yeah, listen to David Icke, yeah. David Icke's telling the real shit. Listen to my man, yeah. Go on
Not
to
true.
his, go on. They locked him off of YouTube, yeah. But go on to my man's
Now go on
website, yeah.
Go on London Real, bro. That's what he's on there. You know
Nah,
London Real.
have you seen Lyndon Real's latest video where he goes, "It's over."
Now what did he say? I was gonna watch a bit of it. What did he say in the end?
He goes, yeah. He
He's
spoke
a
to
joke.
YouTube, yeah.
Oh, bro, he's a joker. Have you seen it? Have you seen on his website? He's got that Rose Icke free. It's like a little boxing. You know, like when doing boxing, like Muhammad Ali versus
Yeah. He
Tyson
put
Fury,
free, yeah.
Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. 1, 2, 3. He's done it like that, though, isn't he? He's done it
Oh,
like
blood, is it true, yeah? Fucking Mike Tyson's fighting on July 11th.
I don't know. But listen, let's focus. Let's get back to what we're saying. We're going back to that TikTok social media thing. Let's get back to that because we're going to speak about
Yeah.
their things like this.
So basically, yeah, back on subject now, yeah. Sorry for the tangent, guys.
So basically, Babylon is the corrupt system we're living in. Carry on.
Basically, in a nutshell, and I believe a part of the spider web, yeah, is the fact that there's so many multiple social media platforms that inadvertently put pressure on various types of people in society to try and be this kind of image or this kind of beacon of perfection on social media. I mean, to put it into perspective, on Instagram, all these pictures of all these models. I mean, it's just a mask, isn't it?
Fake.
I mean,
A lot of it's fake because you can't even maintain that level of body fat all year round. It's impossible.
yeah, that's one example in regards to the fitness, and then on the female perspective, all these women that look perfect for the average girl, they feel like, oh, that's what I need to look like, kind of thing, and it's not good, man.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, that's the problem with social media. It sets you up in that comparison trap. So obviously we've been in lockdown now for like I don't know 2-3 months, whatever.
Yeah.
Losing track of time, G. I'm telling you, like I want to start off on a positive note in it because obviously there are a lot of negative aspects to this as well. But how's
Yeah, let's
lockdown?
keep positive. Keep positive. Yeah,
You
man.
know what I mean? Positive energy. Wait, how's lockdown been for you? Like just generally. From last time we spoke, you kind of said it wasn't really much of a change. You're just kind of still doing your own thing. But, like, yeah, how's it been?
For me, I have to be thankful and grateful because I've still had the opportunity to go to work and live a part of a normal life that I lived before this lockdown. So I have to be somewhat grateful and thankful for that. But as a whole, it's been a surreal experience. I think a positive as well as a negative from what I've observed is that people have looked into themselves and carried out behaviors that they never used to carry out before.
Most
So
definitely.
people, for example, I know for a fact people have become more loving or valued the love of their family a bit more or understood the virtue of not taking opportunities to see their family because of this lockdown and understanding that life is short in itself. So in that sense, this has really kick-started society to have a different type of psychological look or outlook on what life is really about, which is obviously love and unity and a lot of things that Krishna talks about. Um, so yeah,
Because,
I think
because like what they're saying with the lockdown, I've seen a lot of these memes on Instagram, obviously. For example, saying stuff like if you don't come out of this lockdown with a hustle or a new skill or a new this or a new that, then the lockdown isn't what's failed. It's you that's failed. And I think that's quite a good thing. Even if it does put pressure on you, it's quite a good thing because this opportunity of lockdown, a lot of time to ourselves, we have all the time in the world to do what we want, that we've always wanted to do. We've always wanted to do. And there's still time.
but the thing is, that's an illusion in itself because there has always been time. So
Exactly.
the
That's
fact
true.
that the fact that coronavirus is here now doesn't mean that people's outlook or their drive or perception suddenly changes. It might
No.
slightly alter for the period of this pandemic, but yeah, that doesn't mean that it's changed. So those means in themselves are contradictory because they're assuming that if you haven't come out with a skill within the 3 months of this pandemic, you failed. In essence, what if all you managed to achieve was learn something new or read a book? I mean, there's different types of scale
Yeah,
of achievement, isn't there? So
definitely. I feel like,
so
yeah,
that goes back to hold on. That goes back to this posty memes, and this fucking social media. It goes back to what I'm telling you about social pressures, big man. Yeah, from Babylon through the social media, through the indirectness, it's fucking you up. It's fucking everyone up, man. I'm telling you.
literally. Now, to be fair, when I first read that, obviously I see it in a different light now. I see it in a more positive light, but I can totally understand your opinion on that because it does place a burden of pressure on people. A lot of people are mentally suffering during this lockdown. A lot of people are suffering from anxiety, depression,
Yeah,
boredom. That's why Netflix shows are going through the roof, bro. Even I started one the other day, bro. Like it's like
a
something
Netflix
to
show.
do. Yeah, I started a Netflix show the other day. Yeah, that Ozark. Have you heard of it, Ozark?
Now, what's that?
It's not even that good, but I'm like 3 episodes in. I might suck it in, bro. Swear to God. But anyway, listen, we'll allow that off because we'll talk about that another time. David Icke. So he did mention him earlier. For those of you who don't know who he is, Google him and don't listen to what the mainstream say about him because they did a personality assassination on him. He's done 3 interviews with a London Real. The second one was groundbreaking. I mean, the third one I haven't finished, but I'm still in the middle of that.
Yeah,
But
that one's about 2.5 hours long. The third one.
yeah, the third one, yeah. Like I've got more reservations on him, but I must say he's done a terrific job to bring this out. He has done a terrific job because a lot of people have listened to what he said. They had 1 million people, bro, watching the
On their
last
live
one.
stream. Yeah,
That is a
they did.
lot of people, man. I don't even think TV shows have that, you know.
No, they don't.
So yeah, David Icke, man, gives your take on that.
You know what it is, yeah? It's an interesting one because obviously, when he talks about reptilians and aliens, that's the far fetched bit, and that's the bit I think the media try and use to discredit the good bit of what he's saying.
And the bit they discredit him when he said he was a son of God ages ago. He said it because he had an experience. You know, we all say things, innit? You know, like a spiritual experience, take some psychedelic drugs. You say things, innit? So the media butchered him, but carry on.
Yeah, but my take on it is, how can one man, 167-year-old man, with apparently wild, abstract, out of this world thoughts, create such a storm that they've had articles in the BBC written about him. They've had his platform taken from YouTube and so on and so on. If what he was saying was apparently all complete, utter lies, why would they do such a thing? I mean,
and you've also got the question.
Hold on. There's a good quote that I like to use sometimes, and it goes like this, If you cut out someone's tongue, it doesn't mean he's a liar. All it means is people fear what he has to say.
Interesting.
And that's very true, man.
Yeah, because they shut him down quick time, David, when he came on. And what I find interesting, is that I've been following him for quite a long time, and a lot of the things he said 20, 30 years ago about the system that would come in, the whole microchip, the whole controls grid, all this.
Technocracy,
that's exactly the word he uses. That is exactly what we're living in right now. So you got to say him right, didn't he? You got to say him right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, with this whole corona thing, obviously, it's open to debate, innit? Deep down, we do not know how it started, and the powers that be will probably never let us know how it started,
Because he doesn't think it exists, does it? He thinks the virus does not actually exist. He thinks it's to do with like exosomes and how your body responds to like basic chemicals. I think.
Genetic material. Basically, he's saying that the test that they use to verify whether or not you have coronavirus is a SPDR, something another test, and all it does is test for genetic material that virtually every human being on this planet possesses. So that's another one. I mean, there's also Dr. Rashid. You know about Dr. Rashid, did it?
Yeah, he blew the internet storm. Top guy.
They locked him up as well. The American doctor.
You know what it is? They locked off a lot of doctors that have spoken out about it. They've ridiculed them. The mainstream media. This is what I was trying to say to you earlier, bro. What they've done
why?
is
that's what we've got to look at. Why?
It comes back down to divide and conquer. Because if you divide the people against themselves, you can carry on doing what you need to do. What they've done, they've divided the people who have an alternative view against those who have a mainstream view, and have made the alternative people look like idiots or even reckless to the point of them looking like they're actually causing harm. Yeah? Okay? And against the other people who back all of what the scientists say and back all of what the mainstream says. And it's just very easy for those who play the chess game, because they control both sides. So they're just up there carrying on what they're doing. I mean, the vaccine is coming out soon, yeah? Are you taking that? Because I hell ain't taking that, but taking that.
Speaking of vaccines, Mr. Icke has predicted that you'll reach a stage like, because apparently he said in China, if you don't act a particular way, the government penalizes you. So
social
something that I didn't know, exactly, something that I didn't know that Mr. Icke educated me on is that there's millions of Chinese people that can't go on planes, can't go on public transport because their social credit is that low, because they've been so uncooperative with the way of government thinking or the requirements and criteria needed, that they can't. Their life is very limited. So they will never see another. They'll never see another land. They'll never go on a holiday and see another place, and it's mad.
And I think the thing is that that social credit system, even if you speak out about the government, like we're doing now, for example, you get docked, and it's all run by AI, which is another big thing. It's all run by artificial intelligence. So if you're docked, bro. You can't even buy stuff. You can't even leave your house. Well, you can leave your house, but you can't even leave your city, for example, because how are you going to get there apart from your bike and your car? And you probably won't be able to turn on your car because you can't get petrol, because you can't buy petrol. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And even speaking about cars, these smart motorways, another thing that David Icke educated me on is that they're created for automated Tesla vehicles. You know, the ones that are self-driven or going to be
Yeah.
more prevalently self-driven over the coming years. And the fact that with the social credit system now, yeah, it will reach a stage that you can't go certain places because your credit's so low and the car is programmed not to take you there.
And do you know what they'll do as well, bro? What they'll do with the vaccinations, yeah. I think this is even in the mainstream news. They will, if you have not had a vaccine, you will not be able to do certain things. It will start off basic, because you've got to remember these people. They'll always gradually introduce things. If they put it all in one, we'll all make a fuss about it. So if you haven't had your vaccine, you won't be able to travel. You won't be able to go here. You won't be able to go there. Maybe you won't even be able to leave lockdown. You know, and the vaccine itself is another big topic itself, because there's even, I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's studies that there was the SARS in 2003, okay? And now they're saying...
Also from China.
Also from China. And they're saying a lot of COVID deaths and illnesses are happening in care homes. Well, who had the SARS vaccine back in 2003 after the pandemic, the so-called pandemic, I'll call it, back then?
I like that, pandemic.
Who had the vaccines? A lot of old people. A lot of the people who are actually getting COVID now, let's say it exists for this hypothetical scenario, they are the ones who are getting it. And the vaccine, I have a feeling it's going to cause future illnesses. It's going to destroy our body. But guess what? The main thing, it is spiritual suicide. Because if you take that vaccine with the knowledge that you have about the world,
you're just a waste, man. You're an idiot.
Your soul's going somewhere that I don't even want to know where it's going. But you might not even have a soul anymore, bro. But if you don't want to take the vaccine, we're not medical professionals. We're not saying we know everything. You take it. Just don't force it upon us. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, it's that as well. But the fact that this is what I come back to, the indirectness of things that are placed upon us or put in front of us to entice us, like Adam and Eve and the apple. With what you've said there now, yeah, like you've described, if you don't take the vaccine, you don't go on holiday. So man them and gal them that want to go on holiday, all right, boom, I'll go take the vaccine. Yeah.
Simple solution, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't take the vaccine, you can't go on the London Underground. All right, boom, I need to get to work, I'll take the vaccine. So indirectly, yeah, they're already pushing another avenue to fuck you up, if that makes sense. Because you don't do it this way, they get you this way. But back to what else you were saying about the vaccine, about the people who had SARS, who took the vaccine and had illnesses down the line. It could be hypothetical in theory. Let's say our generation, I mean, we're in our 20s. The next generation up from us is in their early 30s and so on and so on. Let's say our generation and the generation below us take this vaccine, yeah? And as you said, in 40, 50 years' time, it creates another illness that was a potential cause by the vaccine. It will just create another phase in whatever this plan or whatever this is meant to be, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, most definitely, that does make sense. And I feel as well, what they're going to do with this whole pandemic as well, yeah, they're going to slowly lift the lockdown, okay? They're going to lift it slowly, get things back to normal, and guess what? Wave 2 is going to come. And then back straight into lockdown. We don't even need to be gradual, straight into lockdown, because we've already had it now, innit? And there'll be a pandemic, and that could even be, there's many options on the table, but that could even be the real one that kills. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, so what is it real then? Like, let's go back to basics. What's your opinion on the whole COVID then?
All right then. This is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm not a medical professional yet.
Yeah, we're not medical experts.
I failed biology in year 6, year 7, and BTEC in year 9 yet. So allow me, yeah. What I'm gonna say is, yeah, a lot of what David Icke is talking about, yeah, I do. Here's the thing with me, yeah. I get information from different avenues. I'm kind of an intuitive thinker and I think outside the box. So what I would do is I'll take the potential good out of what Ike's saying and out of the media, because even though the media chat shit, some of the things they do say is correct, unfortunately, believe it or not. Yeah. So I'll take a good bit out of the media, a good bit from David Icke, a good bit from Brian Rose, a good bit from Dr. Rashid, a good bit from the man down the street. And I try to compile the most, not logical, but the most viable story that I could potentially believe and tell someone else with confidence. So when we ask him, is the coronavirus real? I don't believe the coronavirus is real. I believe a virus is real. I believe a cancer is real right now. I believe there's something else that is killing people, and coronavirus is getting the blame.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I mean, bro. Like you can even go on. Wasn't carry on? You're gonna carry on. I want to let you finish.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, there's been cases where families have said, "Oh, my granddad had cancer for the past 9 years," but on his death certificate, they've said that coronavirus killed him.
Done that to
And
too many
also,
people.
you gotta look at the wording. Yeah, in this thing, yeah, they're saying, "Oh, this person died after testing positive for coronavirus." They're not saying this person died because he had coronavirus. They're saying he died after testing positive. I mean, the inadvertent twisting of the thing is in the wording itself. And it's so
Mm.
obvious and in front of people in the headlines every day that they ain't opened their minds and really thought, oh, what does that headline actually mean? Does that mean this person died outright 100% from having coronavirus? Or they had something else and contracted coronavirus with it and died as a result of testing positive for coronavirus, or not for the cancer that they had for the past 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So
It
it's
makes me
mad when
laugh.
you look at it.
It does make me laugh. The falsification of a death certificate is the absolute scam that is going on in hospitals at the moment because somebody could be suffering from cancer for let's say 6 months. They come in and they're tested positive for COVID-19 falsely. Let's just say that falsely because their tests are corrupt anyway, and then they die from the cancer. But no, they died of COVID-19. They didn't die of the cancer. And you can see this in the figures because the figures are showing that coronavirus has got a lot of deaths in the UK, 30k plus, for example. But suddenly, no one's dying of cancer, or very little people are dying of cancer, very little people are dying of obesity, or very little people are dying of other illnesses. Okay, so suddenly these have all stopped. No, they haven't stopped. They're
Trust
continuing.
me.
They're continuing, and COVID
Trust
is
me.
taking the blame for it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, just to really, really, really captivate what you're saying there, it's like, let's put it this way, yeah. This time last year, where would we be? I would be on the way to some carnival somewhere, and we'll all be doing our thing, yeah. And obviously, in the news, we'll be seeing, oh, they're trying to find the latest cancer treatment, this, that. But now it's like these things don't exist no more. I mean, we're not even hearing about what going on in the Middle East no more. It's like everything's silent, and it's mad. It's mad. It's unfortunate, man, that we've had to face this in our lifetime. I mean, my mom's 66. Yeah, she's 60, and she said that I never thought I'd experience this in my lifetime. And it's unfortunate that she has had to experience it in her lifetime because the older generation are a bit frightened. They don't really. They're just going with the groove, man. It's us
I'll tell,
pioneers
I'll tell you
who
what,
are
bro.
having to really think outside the box, man.
I'll tell you what, bro, a lot of people are frightened. People are wearing face masks, gloves, and they just don't get it. They just don't get it. And like, I get them, they're doing it because they're worried and they're scared. But the problem is, we're not supposed to be living in fear. We could die at any minute. And if we are living in a state,
Naturally, anyway, regardless
exactly,
of this thing, yeah.
regardless of
So
thing,
what?
it's good to take precautions, but the way it's been set up is because we're taking precautions because we're shit scared, basically. We're scared, but it's been set up in such a way that we're doing a good cause. Oh, wow. You know, people they clap for NHS, bro. You ain't clapping for NHS. You're clapping for slavery. You're clapping for your fucking slavery, bro. And this is the problem. This is what pisses me off, yeah. And this is what I'm trying to get across in this podcast and going forward on this channel. People need to learn to think for themselves. If you think for yourself, I respect you. But it's so easy to accept what the media says or what this report says or what this prominent figure says. Look into what they say and think for yourself and stop denying your real truth. That's what I'm telling people. Stop denying your real truth because
I agree with you, man.
we all know deep down there's something dodgy. There's a big awakening happening as well. Do you know what I mean? There is people are waking up, and that's one thing I'm happy about.
Yeah, I mean, if David Icke died tomorrow, I think the last thing he would say on his deathbed is, at least I got the message out there and got
Listen,
people thinking.
did you hear
So
about that rapper? Sorry to interrupt. You hear that rapper, Black the Ripper? You know him, innit? Black the Ripper, you've heard of him?
yeah, he loves puffing weed. Yeah, he died about 3 weeks ago.
They killed him off most likely, bro. He was talking about 5G. He was going in on his Snapchat, bro. I remember I used to watch it every single day, bro. Black the Ripper, RIP, he's a G, bro. We're going to carry on your work, inshallah.
Have they
Bro,
have they disclosed how he's actually died now? Because I never seen
no,
how he actually died.
nope. Disappeared from the news, bro. Just like everything, bro. Like you said, look, the mainstream media is so controlled, just like we said earlier. Suddenly, cancer's disappeared from the news. Suddenly, the Middle East has disappeared from the news because what they do is they focus it on what they want you to think about. You must start thinking like these people in charge, not Boris Johnson. He's not even in charge, bro. He's lost himself. Look at him when he's talking, bro. He's lost.
Yeah. David Icke said that. I think
Poor
Mr.
guy.
Johnson, yeah, he's in a pond containing bigger fishes.
He's trying his best
And
to actually do the right thing because he tried to push back the lockdown at the beginning, but they didn't let him.
yeah,
Tried
he
to push
tried
it
herd
back.
community, innit? But then the Shaitan and the Babylon pressured him.
The idiots, man, idiots. But listen, we're going to keep this podcast short, yeah, because obviously we're going to do a half-hour thing because I want to focus on certain issues. Before we do wrap up, yeah, let's end on some positive notes, man. Like for me, yeah, I'm just going to say now with this, yeah, before I hand over to you, yeah. People, what I want you to do is just start thinking for yourself, okay? I'm not saying everything you know is wrong and the news is wrong and all that, even though it kind of is. Just think for yourself. When you hear a story, when you watch the negative news, yeah, think for yourself and make an informed conclusion based on your intuition and based on the evidence at hand. Don't just focus on BBC News or Sky News. Look at the alternative media as well. Stop degrading
Yeah,
them.
Al Jazeera.
But even they're fucked as well. But yeah, look at them as well. But stop degrading.
Yeah, look at everything.
Stop degrading the alternative media. Think for yourself and take back your freedom. Over to you, my friend.
I would say, yeah. Anyone who's seen liberal enlightenment, yeah. If you have children, siblings, or someone who hasn't been enlightened yet, try and sit down with them and show them the news and try and critique it with them. Try and educate them, and especially if it's a toddler, sit down with them and ask them, oh, what do you think might be wrong or potentially debatable with this headline or this storyline that you've just seen? And try and educate. It's important to not just think for yourself, but try and help other people think for themselves as well, because what I know is useless if it's only me who knows it, kind of thing. I mean, the best way to help society is to share what you know with society.
Most definitely.
Some of the greatest inventions that have helped people over the many years that humans have been on this planet have been shared ideas and inventions. So I think, like you said, my message is you definitely need to think for yourself. I mean, you need to pick out the good and bad in whatever kind of information or stimuli you're receiving and processing. And in essence, you need to try and help people unlock their ability to look into different avenues as well. The alternative to thought, the different types of debates and different types of knowledge that is out there. Because in reality, a lot of the answers are actually in front of our eyes, you know. It's because that we've been conditioned and programmed not to really unlock what we can clearly see and dissect it and absorb it in a way that is eligible for us to understand. That is the only major barrier for us not really seeing the truth or seeing something as close to the truth as we could get as human beings on planet Earth in this physical entity. So, yeah, man, people just got to think for themselves. Try and do more good in life, because I think if you do more good, yeah, it's just good, isn't it? You got to do more good, man. It can't really be. I know. Hold on. Let me finish. It's getting emotional now. I know, yeah. I know. Obviously, we look on the outlook of life, and it's a very negative thing. I mean, reality has never been pretty, but just trying to help people.
Especially now, man.
Exactly, man. Try and help people. Try and think for yourself. Try and unlock other people's potential and their thought processes and the ability for them to think for themselves. But I think you're halfway there to fulfillment, man.
Really reiterating a point that you said, yeah, is we need to trust ourselves. You know, just because we have a conclusion on something and it's different to what everyone else thinks, we need to trust that and explore it rather than degrade ourselves and be like, oh, why am I thinking this? And then, oh, mate, or John, why am I thinking this? Oh, I don't think that. Yeah, silly me. No. Trust it, follow it through, and you will meet like-minded people. For example, I was speaking to you for the first time about this stuff. We didn't even know that we share the same opinions, basically. And that's the beauty of life. You will find the people who you match with, so long as you follow your heart. Don't follow all these mainstream. Don't follow all these mainstream people. Let them do their thing. You do your thing. Let them do their thing. You get me? Moses, Mr. Francis, was there anything you would like to plug or anything you'd like us to follow you on? Any information you'd like to give about yourself in order to wrap up?
Yeah, so boom, obviously, we took a break from the YouTube thing, but we're back now. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, Funny Francis Entertainment on YouTube. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Funny Francis 15, yeah. And yeah, man, we're back in the business now. Hopefully new video out soon before the end of Eid and that, yeah.
Inshallah.
And inshallah, akhi, yeah.
And
yeah,
well,
man, it's iftar soon, and mad thing, big munch and that, yeah. I know you munched already, but mad thing.
Man's acting like he's fasting as well, and he's not even not fasting.
Yeah, I know. I'm guessing. You got to add some humour to the thing, you know.
We're gonna get you on for another one again soon.
Obviously, it's always a pleasure to be on BB broadcast. Yeah.
I'll have to come on one of your comedy skits soon. Whenever you're on them things, so you let me know, bro. Because I'm about now for the summer, so I wanna jump on this comedy. I wanna give back now. You give a lot to this channel. It's time for me to give back now, my friend.
You want to give back? Say that. Obviously, when you get the acting credentials in order and jump on, fam.
All right, peace out, my friend, and thank you for watching, guys.
Nice one.